I figure this will be a good opportunity to explain to you guys what's happening over here on holes 19 through 26, or the ridge. Our pump house went down. It's about 30 years old, so those things do go bad. Unfortunately, now that kind of puts us in a tough spot watering wise. We now have to come out here manually and turn on the pump house because, again, it doesn't know without the brains what's going on, so we have to be the brains for it. I decided to film this because actually thanks to Dad, because he's asking me a whole lot of questions about, so thanks Dad for this idea. But yeah, so now it's somebody's task every morning to go out, and we have to manually go and turn on the pumps and then go out to each one of the satellites and work the sprinklers. It takes pretty much all morning. It's not too fun. It takes up my time, or it takes up Cameron's time when we could be doing something else. So as you can see out here, we got some sprinklers running out there. And then you probably can't, maybe you can see it through the trees. Got it over there. So I got 4 holes running at the moment. You can only run so much because the pump can only pump so much water. I'm blabbing on here, so yeah, this is what's currently going on. So hopefully we get this fixed soon because it needs addressed ASAP. All right, so I made my way out here to hole 20. The reason why I'm stuttering on these hole numbers is we renumbered our holes. We have 27 holes, and we used to be, well, we still are, but we have 3 9s, the ridge, the valley, and the lakes, and they used to be holes 1 through 9 on each. Now we're holes 1 through 27, so over here on the ridge, it's holes 19 through 27, so I'm still trying to learn the new numbers. Anyway, out here on 20, running these sprinklers, but pretty much you can kind of see, I hope, it says what station's active. We have a program manually or built into each one of these boxes, and so we got that running. And as you can see over on that hole, which is hole 21, we got that program running. And then I have another program running on hole 26. I actually have 2 running over there because we have 2 boxes. I can only run 4 boxes at once. Again, like I said earlier, because that is as much as I can run at once. So I run these programs, and then once they start nearing the end, I have to hop to the next one and start a new program and go from there. So it's a lot of driving back and forth, making sure things are running correctly. And yep, that's what we're doing all morning. So while I'm out here waiting for the current hole that I'm on to water, I actually wrote down my dad's questions he had. Figured that would be a good little addition to this video. I kind of take for granted the general public knowledge, what they don't know, and what I would assume people know about pump houses and irrigation systems. So here's a couple questions I'm going to answer, and hopefully they make sense. Here we go. So the first question he asked is, will we buy a whole new system? I hope we do, even though there's still components that are working in the pump house now. It's not going to be too much longer before those start to fail. The system was built in 94, or is installed in 94. Pump houses usually run 20 to 25 years, maybe more, at least until you start getting concerned with them starting to fail. Their computers and motors, like everything, they eventually start to go bad and get old, and you need to replace them. So This is, I feel like this is the first stage of an ultimate failure in our pump house. Luckily it wasn't both pumps that didn't run, because then we won't be able to pump water, period. So yes, hopefully we do buy a whole new system, but we'll kind of wait and see what quotes we get. He was also asking, are we going to get new boxes? So these are what he's referring to. These are the satellites. These are on each hole. It's where programs are built into, which tells the sprinklers to turn on at night. Once that pump house starts seeing that drop of pressure, because we're starting to release pressure, the brains, which we don't have, of the pump house goes, oh no, we're dropping below operating pressure, which is usually around 100 to 115 psi. Once it starts dropping below that, the brains tell the pumps, hey, you need to kick back on. Since we don't have that anymore, it won't do that. So the pumps will never turn on. Right now, since I have it flipped in manual mode, it's always running. So yeah, so that's what's kind of going on now in regards to why we have to water the way we are. So will we get new boxes or satellites? No, because they're still operating. But if we ever do come to a point where this is becoming obsolete, then we will probably be due for an upgrade, but that doesn't seem like that's going to happen anytime soon. He's asking, the main controls are in my office. Yes and no. For this side across the street here, where we're experiencing difficulties, no, the main controls are not in my office. This side crosses a major street, 106th Street. So our basically the wires that the main computer from my office run do not cross the road. So that's why we have these satellites over here set up to run programs. It's if you don't have a computer to do so, you can just run them off these satellites. So the yes, the main controls of the other side of the golf course, the 22 holes, yes, I do have a main computer in there that runs that. Over here, this is only 7 holes. No, we just run from the satellite. He's curious if the pump houses are just plumbing. Essentially, yes. All it is, the pump house that we have over here has 2 pumps, one 25 horsepower pump and then one 50 horsepower pump. The 25 horsepower pump can run 250 gallons per minute. The 50 horsepower pump can do 500 gallons per minute. So right now the 50 horsepower pump is also not running, which is another reason why we are probably going to get a whole new pump house, because there's no sense in just replacing bits and pieces. It'll be more expensive in the long run, so you might as well just pay the big chunk of change now and just get it all taken care of and not worry about it again till 2045. That's weird to say. So yes, pump houses are basically just plumbing. It's you got your 2 pumps that are essentially just pulling water out of your pond, and then it goes into a manifold or a big pipe that then shoots out to the course and then runs. It fills up all the lines that we have out here underground. Like I said, those pumps turn on when it detects that the pressure in the system is running below a certain PSI. Beating a dead horse, since the brains aren't working, the pumps won't ever kick on. So, but yeah, that's basically all that's in there. There is some computer components, like I said, that detects those things. There's a couple gauges that I can see what the pressure is coming out, but other than that, it's pumps and a pipe running out into the golf course. He asked if the other pump house was the same. Again, over where our 22 holes are, over on the other side of the road, yes, it's pretty much the same, except we have one 25 horsepower pump and then 2 50 horsepower pumps, since we have to cover more ground. Basically, the more ground you cover, that's kind of how they dictate what kind of pumps you need and everything. So yeah, we have a total of 3 pumps in the other pump house. Now, it's an old system. It has different components in there. For instance, one is an obsolete product. It's called a clay valve. It kind of regulates the pressure, because again, these pumps are designed to turn on and turn off. It's not like a car, your accelerator pedal, when you go, you know, you gradually press on the accelerator, you eventually pick up speed to get where you need to be. Pumps are, they don't, the old pumps or the old system, how it's set up is it's on or off. So that's basically like you mashing the accelerator in your car to get from 0 to 60 as fast as humanly possible, and then when it shuts down, it literally just stops pumping. So back to the clay valve, that kind of regulates that fluctuation of immediate pressure. So again, those are obsolete, so really it's not going to be too long before we start having to deal with replacing that pump house over there, because it too is also from 1994. So it's on its last legs. I guess I kind of answered the next question, how old and what kind of shape is it in? I mean, fingers crossed it's still running. We go in there every day, every other day, just to make sure, you know, everything is quiet and how it should be. But I've had 2 of the 3 pumps already rebuilt. That was like my first year here, because when I first came in, 2 of those 3 pumps didn't even turn on. So that was a big issue here when I started, was water management, and that is a big issue there. So I had them rebuilt. Hindsight's 2020, but I kind of wish I went to the ownership to talk about a whole new system as is, because we dropped a whole lot of money into it just to get those pumps rebuilt. And then I also had to get new brains over there. It cost us about $80,000, and a new system will be more than that, but again, it's worth it. They got new updated things where, kind of like a car, they now got pumps and regulators on those pumps that slowly ramp up, just like a car, and slowly back down. So it's a lot easier on the pipes underground. And so those were all the questions that he had, Dad. Hopefully those answered. I answered those for you, and hopefully everybody has a better idea of pump houses. Just an update on the pump house situation across the road here on the ridge. I did get approval to get a whole new pump house, so that's pretty exciting. We got some very loose estimates, nothing set in stone. They're still working on it, but yeah, it's been dry as hell out here. Humidity's been real low. Not very many clouds in the sky. Actually, what you're looking at now is probably the most cloud cover we've had in, geez, a while. And it's been pretty windy, so sunny, no clouds, low humidity and wind are the fastest way to dry things out. And that's the conditions we're getting. So we're burning up. We're getting some dry spots around. We're doing what we can, but you can only do so much. So go and do my rain dance. We need Mother Nature to help us out. So the newest update on the Ridge pump house situation. It's July 9th. Yesterday we finally received some rain. We got 7/10 of an inch, which is a good amount, especially since we went 42 days without any rainfall. We couldn't have asked for it for a better time. The only having a 25 horsepower pump to water these holes over here, it was really starting to show. It's pretty frustrating in the fact that we put in all this time and effort to get the golf course, you know, and the best playing conditions we could, and then we run into a situation like this, which, you know, it's no one's fault. It's just mechanical failure, and luckily we're still able to water. Not as much as we would like, but better than nothing. So, you know, there's some things that played into how the course is looking over on this side. Again, weather conditions. We've gotten such unbelievably dry conditions. Great golf weather. through that 42-day stretch, I would say, 3 out of those 4 days were really dry, really windy, not a cloud in the sky, which is the worst recipe for trying to keep water in the soil. We're maximizing our times that we can running water. I mean, we're watering well into mid to late morning, but then there's other 22 holes that we also have to oversee, so it's been quite a challenge. I don't know if we've lost areas on greens over here, but some of them, are looking pretty rough. I'm pretty confident that they'll bounce back. This upcoming week, it's pretty much going to be a wall-to-wall spray week. So so we're going to be on sprayers, Monday through Friday, and then the next week I'm going to coordinate with the general manager to put a needle tine on these greens, and I'll get a video of that. But that's going to help get some water down the soil profile, which is what we need. So let's hope Mother Nature doesn't give us another 42 straight days of nothing but clear skies. Again, it's great for golf, but throw me a bone here. We'll bounce back. And I debated on putting some of these videos in this section, because as a superintendent, you only want to show the good side of your course. But these videos I'm putting on YouTube are showing, the bad side too. Everything's not just rainbows and unicorns on the golf course. In fact, more times than not, it's not that way. So not many people can do this job. It can be very frustrating. It can be very stressful, but it is what it is. I love doing it, and we'll bounce back. So just wanted to give you guys that update. Here on the ridge greens, getting a needle tied down. As you can see, got some pretty rough patches through here. We're doing a 2 by 2 inch spacing. We'll check our depth here in a minute, but it should be about 4 inches deep. So what this is doing is alleviating compaction, also allowing water and oxygen infiltration down into the soil profile. So these greens desperately need this. Let's check this out. Yep, that's about 4 inches. So we're working on the ridge greens today. Tomorrow we'll work on either the valley or the lakes. We also got top dressing, a light top dressing down beforehand, and some fertilizer. So this should definitely help get these things through the second half of the season. It's July 19th, and 2 days ago we received 1.5 inches of rain or so. Here is the ridge. It is amazing what a little bit of rain can do for the course. The brown spots you see are little patches that we've lost, but I'm not really concerned about that. Those will fill back in, and any that don't, we will help aid along the way. But just wanted to give you an update of where we are at. Today's July 23rd, and this past week we have decided on a company of who we want to do the installation. I met with them multiple times throughout the week, but yesterday on Friday, they actually came out and we already started taking measurements of the current pump house That way they take that back and they do a computer design and everything just to make sure when they do design it and make it and bring it out, it fits in how it's supposed to. So what's exciting about that is it's official. The proverbial ball is rolling. So it's not just a dream anymore, it's a reality. It's looking like the time frame for when this is going to start going in will be January to February of 2023, which is perfect because we're not using irrigation then. I mean, we're going to be winterized and everything. So the good thing is it's not going to have to be a fly by the seat of your pants install and get it in as quickly as possible because you need water. So another good thing is the ground's going to be frozen, so the equipment that they have to bring in, cranes to lift the old pump station out and to put the new one in, luckily with the ground frozen it won't hurt anything. So it's timing up quite nicely. The downfall is I have to manually turn on and off the pump house each and every time we need to water. So but with light at the end of the tunnel, it's well worth it. So wanted to give you guys that update. I'm very excited about it, and once more things start going, it's probably going to be quiet for a while because like I said, nothing's really going to start happening probably till December. So when that time comes, I'll be sure to keep you guys posted.